And we are live. What up, players? Welcome to another episode of Player Life. Don't usually do a live stream on Saturday morning, or it's Saturday morning here in Tokyo. You usually do Friday morning, but I missed Friday morning because I had a pretty late night out on Thursday night. No alcohol involved, but plenty of degeneracy involved. Um, you don't need alcohol to be a degenerate. but someone calling me. But yeah. So yeah, Thursday night was a good night indeed. It is what we call here in Japan Golden Week right now. It's like a national holiday when it lasts. There's like a string of national holidays that they call it Golden Week. So Thursday night was wait, is this microphone? Let me check the microphone. I didn't need to check. Okay. Yeah, should be good. All right. So yeah, Thursday night, like I said, was the beginning of Golden Week, and yeah, so I decided to go out, linked up with my friend, and we did some. Yeah, we were just rolling around doing some day game or night game. It was night game. Um, approaching girls, talking to them, and yeah, the goal was to I mean, the formula is down pat. We approach girls, we talk to them, establish rapport, let them know that we're cool guys, and invite them back for a house party, or we call it a home party in Japan, home party, and yeah, so that's what we did. We rolled around until we found two girls that were receptive, that were friendly, that were interested, and we invited them to a home party. And need I say any more? Um, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was a late night. Damn, man. It's amazing. It's amazing what some girls will do, like when they're in the right environment. If you make a girl feel a certain way, and she's in a safe environment, they'll do things that you would never think they would do, you know? Like, as in, they'll have sex in front of their friends. Yeah, like, you know, even these so-called good girls. Oh, it just happened. One thing led to another. Exactly. You know, if you make them feel a certain way, damn, anything can happen. That's why I love actually giving girl the as I call it, the massage technique, because you just make them horny when you're giving them. It sounds very innocent, you know. Uh, it sounds very, oh, just a massage, but you know when you know how to give a good massage, it can turn into the kind of massage that can get a girl pregnant. So always wear a condom, guys. Always wear a condom. Um, Yeah, so that was Thursday night, so that's why I missed Friday. But um, that is that. So other than that, I want to talk. I saw this video. I want to do some commentary on it. You know, a lot of these, a lot of women just can't accept cold hard truths, and one of the cold hard truths that they really have trouble accepting is the cold hard truth that younger women are hotter. Like a 21-year-old woman is hotter than a 31-year-old woman. That's just the cold hard truth. It just is. I don't make, I didn't design humans, but they get really upset about that and they hate it. They hate cold hard truths. They just want everything to be all these comforting truths, comforting lies. Um and in the end, the comforting lies will fuck you up the worst. Yeah. you swallow these comforting lies all your life. You did. That's what fucks you up because you wake up. Well, a woman's gonna wake up when she's 33, 30, whatever, in her 30s, and realize she's been lied to. She can't compete with these like younger, hotter chicks. Like even an ugly 21-year-old is generally kind of bangable because they'll have the youthful glow about them. But an ugly 31-year-old is like she's just ugly. Like she's just ugly. She's busted. There's no youthful glow left. There's nothing. I Everyone gets what I'm talking about. Almost okay. Of course, there are some 21-year-olds that are not bangable, but even you get what I'm at. Like some, they have that like hot young hot girl vibe about them, even if they're not the best looking. But yeah, but as they get older, it's just like just you lose that, and then they just eventually they're not, they're just ugly. So yeah, but so even if a girl is hot, like has the genetics and she takes care of herself, when she's 21, she's like, she's at her gonna be at her peak. Like anyway, I'll share the video and I'll do some commentary on it. Okay.
Is the message. The medium is the message. Is she flaking on you for dates? That's the message. Is she sort of indecisive about being with you? Is she making you jump through hoops? Women break rules for alpha males and they make more rules for beta males. Is she making you rules? If that's the case, then her attraction to you or interest in you is probably not what it ought to be, because women will break rules to get with a guy who is so high value, because women understand that they can't afford to miss out on that opportunity with a guy who's a high value guy. So they will tend to break rules for that guy and make rules for guys, like you're saying before here, where it's like they'll try to cover it up with love, right? Or they'll try to cover up their lack.
It's very true. The medium is the message. Like if a chick is flaking on you, it's not that you could never like bang her. It's just that it's gonna be like, is it worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze? You know. So that's what that is, and you just gotta understand. Like women will make time if you're number one on her list, she'll absolutely make time for you. Like a lot of times chicks will say, oh, I've work, I've this and that and the other. If she really likes you, she'll come and see you after work. It doesn't matter if she has work or school or college. It'll like she'll find time. Like she'll go to work, she'll come and see you after work. That's how it works. But if a girl is not, so you're not number one, you're down on the list, then it'll be like, oh, I've work, and then like you'll just make excuses. They're just excuses. So that's what you got to. It just is what it is. You just got to keep getting out there until you find girls that are just gonna be gonna make it relatively easy to meet them, and not make all these excuses. And once they start making excuses, they're telling you, okay, you're not. It's not that it's not even that the girls might even have some attraction to you, but the thing is, it's you're not the most attractive to them in their option list. You know what I mean? It's not that they're not attracted to you, it's that there's more attractive guys in the list. If they weren't attracted to you, a lot of the time they wouldn't have given you the contact, or they wouldn't have talked to you, or you know what I mean, or they wouldn't even reply to you. So they might have some attraction to you, but it's like you're not. There's more attractive guys in her option list. So that's what that is.
Act of like being hot for that guy with other things. Guys will do exactly the same thing too. They'll try to convince themselves that she's really into it, but she's really not into it. And I said, is she making rules for you? That's number one. If you want one sort of litmus test for your dating, is she making rules for you, or is she breaking rules for you because she really wants to get with you? She has this really just hot desire for you. And then I think probably the third most common is, how do I get my wife to have sex with me again?
Wow.
Oh, damn.
How do I get her, get her back? You know, most of the guys who I deal with who are older and they are married, that's their primary concern, because they think that they used to be able to have sex with her, and maybe this is true, when they were single, and then they got married and she turned the sex spigot off.
Can I, from a female person, I'm not married, obviously, but
The thing about, long term long term relationships is like eventually it's just gonna get boring. No matter how, that my opinion on it is, no matter how hot the woman is, eventually it's gonna get boring, and that goes for both men and women. And yeah, man. I mean, if men are more likely to. Apparently, women are the ones that are more likely to become bored sooner, but it all depends on what kind of guy it is, what kind of sex they're having. There's just so many variables, but it doesn't matter. Like, in my opinion, it's like it's gonna get boring. It's just that's my opinion about it. Like, from experience, like it just does. Like, even if it's gonna get mentally unstimulating after a while. So that's why I think guys need to spin plates no matter what. Like, uh, it's just gonna be, I'm of the opinion that we only live once. Just you might as well enjoy many women. Why just one woman? Because I don't think men are designed to just be with one woman for like the rest of their life. Um, Maybe one woman to, like, have a family with and all that. Yeah, sure. But like, just to like only have sex with one woman, that is that's gonna be difficult. Gonna be very difficult.
I speak to a lot of women also, like about marriage and the lack of sex, and I have a lot of men also messaging me asking all those 13%. So what I think is, in the beginning, when you were dating your person, you were doing a lot. You were taking her on dates and you were doing this, and maybe you both were more fit or you were hotter or whatever. Like, everything was just more exciting. Now sex became like a chore. And guys don't, like, he's not gonna, give you a little sexy massage, and you're not gonna he's gonna come to you in bed. You're gonna be like, oh, you wanna fuck? You wanna do it? That's what men do
I
nowadays.
got half an hour.
And that's
I got to
Let's make
fold
this quick,
laundry.
honey.
I got to fold laundry. So you finish up.
and that's what happens in marriages now. It's not special anymore. It's like, just like you said, let's do this now so we can do the laundry later, and you're not into it. And I feel it's both sides.
Is that just inevitable in every relationship? Is
If
that
you
like
I
make
don't
it-
think so.
number? Oh, really?
if you make it like
Okay.
that, yeah, then it is. But you should work on your sex life the same way you work on your
Mm.
like day-to-day
Well,
things.
Speaking of sex life, I want to bring up this, and then we're going to get to the celebrity stuff. The sexual market value. We've spoken about this at length. Are you familiar with this sexual market
a little
value?
bit, but please
You've just
elaborate.
been talking about it the whole time.
Exactly.
Actually.
So, would you break down sexual market value? So, let me ask you a question first, then we'll get to Rolo. Would you say that you are at your peak sexual market value right now at age 30, 31?
I think that I'm the best now that I've been before.
Okay.
I'm the best, whatever. The grammar is not my style. I'm the best I could be right now. I am.
You're the best version of yourself
Yes,
right now.
Yes.
What age do you want to get married by?
So there you have it. There is the kind of female delusion. Like, in her opinion, she thinks she's the best version of herself, but that her opinion doesn't really matter when it like it's like, who is she? Is she more popular now at 31 with men as a dating prospect, or would she have been a better dating, had more options as a dating prospect when she was 21? And she there's no doubt in my mind that there would have been more guys wanting to date her when she was 21. It's not that there's gonna be no shortage uh there's going to be no shortage of guys wanting to sleep with her now, but since she's 31, it's just there's like the clock is ticking. Um, you know, uh, that's just the way it is. The clock is ticking, and there's just less time. There's just less time to have fun. Um, uh, let's see, what's this dude say? For you to say a man can't be with a woman for their life is pretty arrogant. You're supposed to get that out before you get married. I mean, if you find it arrogant, why don't you fuck off then? I mean, it's like you don't have to, you know. I don't think it's arrogant at all. I said guys can be with one woman, but that's up to them. Do they want it? If they want to be with a woman, that's up to them. But I mean, I don't think they naturally want to um, be with one woman. I think if they had the choice, if they had the option, if they had the ability, if they could get away with, being with many women, sleeping with many women, they absolutely would because it's biologically in us to do, want to be with many women. So yeah.
I don't really care. I mean, marriage for me is not like, oh, by 30 I already passed it. Like
By 40?
it's yeah, I would like to get married by 40, but it's
By
not
50?
yeah,
How high
by
of a
40.
priority is it for you right now?
It's not really such a high
What about
priority.
kids? What age would you like to have kids by? Do you want to have kids?
I would want to have kids. I want to have kids by, I don't know, 35.
Okay.
Uh, Apparently, this is a medical term. A 35-year-old woman having a child is called a geriatric pregnancy. I didn't make it up, but that's actually what it's called. It's called a geriatric pregnancy. Like it's actually also dangerous. Um, for yeah, for women to like be pregnant at that age. Um, yes.
I'm gonna give you a case example, and then I want open up to the sexual market value. There was a girl that I used to like just be friends with. We kind of like were like dated in high school, whatever. Not dated, but like actually kind of wanted her more than she wanted me, and it was like whatever, never happened. We went to a party. It was a 40th birthday party last year. Okay, I'm single. I had some serious relationships. I was single, making money. Life's good. She's still single, 40. The reception for the difference between us was palatable. Yo, Adam, what up? 40 single, making money, kill. You're the man, bro. Oh, I won't say her name. Are you okay? Is everything you
And
good?
that's what happens.
So that's my point. A 40-year-old man, successful, single, no wife, no kids. You're fucking pimp, bro. Woman, 40, no wife, no husband, no kids. People look at that as being like, you okay?
Yeah.
Like everything,
I know,
you're
I
gonna be
know,
all
I know.
right. You're not gonna kill yourself, are you?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? As being a beautiful, high maintenance 31-year-old woman, I doubt you want to be that 40-year-old woman 10 years from
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I think that's just the society today, and I would love that to change. I just don't know when it will or what needs to happen for this to change.
Yeah, so like it's just that's the thing. She's like she thinks it's a societal thing. It's not a societal thing. It's just a biological thing. It's just the way it is. Like women like older men in general because older men have their shit together, and sometimes not all men, but sometimes men can actually like look better um than they do when they were younger. Like I objectively look better now at 33 than I did when I was 21. I was way too, you know, way had way too much, I wouldn't say a baby face, but I said like I just wasn't very masculine when I was 21, and um women are attracted to masculine men. I have a way better physique now. I'm objectively a more attractive man now at 33 than I was when I was 21. And I guarantee if you asked women, this, you showed them a photo of me now, at 33, as opposed to when I was 21. They would, the girls that, they would say the 33-year-old version of me is more attractive. But in general, yeah, like the vast majority of the time, like you did the same for example, this chick, like I guarantee she was more attractive if you showed a photo, two photos, showed her when she was 21 as opposed to 31. She's definitely going to be more attractive. Uh, let's see. Chirpcast podcast says, you really shouldn't speak for woman, man. Okay, so we got a fucking simp in the chat. A fucking simp, like, dude, you're like simping out. Um, what are you even saying? Change your stream topic because this is dog shit and you're walking down a slippery slope, dude. Like, I mean, why are you even watching? Like, go find something, some simp ass shit. Go and like give money to chicks on some webcam website. Go sign up to some chicks OnlyFans. Um, you fucking dork.
But I feel a lot of women, and also that's a question I get often. It's like, I like this guy, like I want to get married, I'm not sure if he's the one, but I've been with him for 7 years now, and I don't want to start over, and blah blah. And that
women have this pressure when they're in their 30s or late 20s that they need to get married, and then they do get married to this guy who they've been dating for the past 3 years, and then they get married, and then they realize 3 years in they're miserable, and then they get a divorce, and then you're starting again. So instead of rushing into marriage because your clock is ticking, there's no clock ticking besides like you can freeze your eggs, do whatever. Like I don't,
There is a clock ticking.
There's a clock
For women more than men.
I don't think there's any. You guys can.
You agree or don't?
There is most definitely a clock.
So you don't think there is an expiration date?
This is like the cold hard truth that women are not willing to accept. Like, really, in reality, we all have clock ticking. We all, men, women, we all have, an expiration date. We're all gonna die. This is like, but it just so happens that in terms of procreation, chicks absolutely have a expiration date, and that's just telling them that they don't is like, it's just actually making their situation worse, because it's like they think that they're the exact same as men, that they can live life like men. They don't need to try and find a guy that's gonna be loyal to them, that's going to wife them up. But society just perpetuates these lies, and look what's happening in Western society. Birth rates are going down. Depression amongst women is going up. Because why? Because realistically, they want to get married, they want to have families, they want to have kids, but they pretend that they don't. They think that it's not cool. But when they get to 31, yeah, things change then.
Put it that way.
Explain that.
All right. So
you're saying women are like milk.
See. This dickhead says, before you go bashing women, get a better stream. I mean, dude, you're simp, you're white knighting. I don't even know if like, who you white knighting for. Like, I mean, I'm just speaking objective facts, but you're on here crying for, you're not gonna get laid being a little dork, simp white knight, dude. I mean, I'm just speaking objective facts. I'm not bashing women. I'm just like speaking objectively.
So let I really hate
people have used that before.
What was the analogy?
Like wine.
No, not yet. We'll get to that. So before I launch into what I'm going to say here, let me explain we're going to have to make a distinction between sexual market value and personal worth, okay? Because women tend to conflate those two. So if I say, well, you're successful, you got a career, you went to college, you make $100,000 a year, blah blah blah. Where's my man? How come I don't have a man right now? Well, the reason is because you've turned yourself into the man that you wanted to marry. That's why. So what happens is we sort of sell women this bill of goods that they need to follow sort of this masculine alpha male life plan, and then they get to 35, 36 years old and they go, where's the guy? Where's the guy that I'm supposed to be with? Well, it's because as things track, the thing is that men and women find different things attractive in the opposite sex. Women believe that men should find things attractive about them that women would naturally find attractive in a man. Yep. So when we're looking at between the ages of 18 and about 28 years old, you'll hear people talk about this online all the time. That's the hoe phase, right? That's the party years.
What's the hoe phase?
The hoe phase, 18
to 28. You know it. Come on, Coco.
18 to 28 years old.
I would say 18 to 24, okay. If in my experience.
All right, well, the reason I rounded off to the 28 is because 29, 30, 31 is the epiphany phase, and I'll talk about that here in just a second.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, and I know, well,
she just had an epiphany right there, bro.
I know what you're going to say, too, because I did read that one post you had on.
She knows exactly what the whole phase is. She's just she's just pretending to be innocent. She's just like, I mean, it is what it is. But the thing about the thing in Western society is like this the 304 phase, as they call it, is that it's getting like prolonged, like way too long. Like way too long. Like I said, like a 35-year-old woman that's pregnant, it's like medically called like a geriatric pregnancy, because it's like there's a way higher chance of miscarriage. Like by a lot, like evolutionarily speaking, like women were like, people like men and women were dying at 30. Like they would have died from disease and like all kinds of shit up until like very, very recently, up until like evolutionarily speaking, like only in the last couple hundred years, and that's like only a blip, like in human evolution. So it's this idea of women, just the vast majority of women's, having their first child at 35 is like, it's not natural, like and it's like, people say, oh, I know this girl, and there's plenty of women can have children at 35, and it's like, in general, that's not how women are almost infertile by that age. The vast majority of women, they have fertility issues, and it's just much harder to get pregnant. It's just the birth control pill changed everything. Changed everything for, I think, probably for the worst for women. I mean, it's good for guys like me that want to live the player lifestyle, and it's like men that live the player, for men's, evolutionary or biological imperative. It's great, like it's like free sex. We get to have sex with no responsibility. We don't have to worry about getting chicks pregnant, although we still do. So you always want to wrap up. You always want to wear the glove, but yeah. So it's like free sex, but for women, it's like there's not really, it's not really anything in it for them. I mean, other than pleasure, but I just don't think, like, women definitely like sex, but it's just totally different. Like a healthy man with like, testosterone, and is like horny every day. He's gonna be like, it should be like just a steady a steady graph of just being horny. Obviously with age it goes up, and down, but in general it doesn't change too much. It's like I guess like a man, it's just much steadier. But with women, it's different. It can change. It can change at the time of the month. How she's feeling. You know, um, just completely different thing. And plus, they don't necessarily. I genuinely think they don't really want to sleep around that much. I think they just want their biological imperative is to find the best man that they can get, like the best, like the most valuable, that the best version, the guy that's has the most resources, the guys that's the most handsome. They'll be happy with that guy. But men, we're designed to spread the seed. Like we're seed spreaders. Like we just want to, because our biological imperative is to, procreate as many, you know, versions of ourselves as possible. That's a successful organism. So that's the base level. It's pretty simple. It makes sense.
I have
so
over 1,000.
If you have read my work, I have the infamous graph. I think I showed it when I was with on Patrick's show. So at the peak levels, women sexual market value peak years is about 23 years old. And that's when women are the most fertile. That's when they can have children the easiest. Mm-hmm. That's when they are at the peak of fertility, their youth. That is the year. That is the age at which every guy from 15 all the way to 95 pegs as the most attractive that women are.
23?
Between 22 and 24. So I average it out to 23.
I barely knew how to brush my hair when I was 22.
Stop it.
Yeah, no, I don't. You know what? Honestly, when I'm looking at and I'm talking strictly physical right now. Mm-hmm. When I look at my photos, 20, 21, 23, I'm so much hotter right now. Like I just know how to dress better. I know how to do my hair. I know how to do my makeup.
We should probably get like a comparison there and take a poll.
Feel free. Find it on my social media.
So it's one. Well,
I don't know where she's from, but like, if she didn't know how to brush her hair by 22, I don't know what kind of chick she is. I don't really know, but yeah, I'm in Japan, and the chicks here most certainly know how to dress by the time they're 22. Like they're super stylish, super hot. They're like there's no issue with there's no fucking issue in Japan anyway with chicks knowing how to dress. Like they're super stylish, hot. Yeah, I don't know what she's just totally deluded. Totally deluded, and that's just the way, there's many such cases. Many such cases.
I'm glad you have high self-esteem. Let's just start right there. But anyways, between 18 and 28 years old is the hoe. Like women will call it themselves. They'll say it's the hoe phase. I didn't make the word, they did. But I call it the party years in my second book. And that's usually at the time where women have the most sexual capital. That's when they get the $1 million. If in sexual agency, that's when they're handed, here's $1 million check, and you've got to make a good investment. Remember what we were talking about, finding a guy who's a good bet for the future? Mm-hmm. The reason women get so, like Gary V's, wife that he's divorcing is so pissed off, or that this is a trophy wife, is because she's taken some of that sexual capital and she's put it into Gary. So what happens is it represents an opportunity cost or a loss. A loss of investment if he doesn't pay off, if it doesn't pay dividends when her sexual market value decays when she's in her 30s and her 40s. And now he's worth way more because men's sexual market value tends to peak right around 35, 36, 37 years old, because that's the point at which men have the most potential. I didn't say they're all going to do this, but they made lawyer in the law firm. They've made surgeon. They're whatever it is. They built themselves up to have the most of what women find most attractive in a man.
The status
is right around that time, and of course, and as I said before, there's success objects, whatever. He still has to look good. You still have to be in shape. I'm not going to discount the looks aspect of that. He's got to be 6 feet tall. He's got to have a V tape, or he's got to have 6-pack abs. Got that. But he also has to have some kind of success. He has to have achieved something, and it takes longer for men to mature.
Chirpcast podcast. Yeah, I am. Why do you think it's okay to speak for women? Why are you being such a simp, nerd, dork, wimp, fucking loser? I like commenting on this shit. You won't win this battle. Trust me. I'm a far right conservative, and you're just being a douche and having nothing to back your facts up. You're a tradcon nerd. That's what you are. That's what you are, dude. And yeah, like what are you even on here for? Like you little dork.
into their peak potential than it does for women. So women's peak potential in the sexual marketplace is 23, and for men, it's about 36. Now, does that mean that 36-year-old guys are banging 23-year-old girls?
And most guys have the potential to be their most attractive when they're around, as Rolo says, around 36. They have the potential, but you know, it doesn't mean that guys just they arrive at 36 and they're just going to be the most attractive that they can be. It's that they have the potential if they look after their health, their physique. They've gotten, they have their finances sorted, um, all that stuff. But like, it's just there's no case where a 36-year-old woman is going to be hotter than her 21-year-old self. There's just not. Um, and even if she was, let's just say she was obese when she was 21. Um, let's just say she was obese and then she became, she dieted, she took care of herself, and she arrived at 36. She's still less of a prospect for marriage, for dating, because she's 36. She might still be a good prospect to bang, but she's not a good prospect to date, or to certainly not a good prospect to marry, because what's the point of marriage? The point of marriage is basically to have, to procreate. Like, what the fuck is the point in getting married if you're not going to procreate?
Absolutely not. I'm just saying that they're mutually exclusive. Okay. So the 23-year-old girl is at the peak of her potential. The guy who's 36, assuming he's made the most of himself and he's the best version of himself that he can be, it's probably going to happen right around 36, 37, somewhere in there. Okay. Because it takes longer for him to do so, to work his way up that hierarchy, as I was saying. As this happens, the problem is that once women get down to about 30 years old and men are on their ascension to their peak, that point right there where and I call it the peak, or the ascension, whatever it is, the peak potential for them, that you'll also notice that is exactly the year, or right around the year, that most men and women get married, when a woman is just on her declination and the guy is on his ascent when it comes to sexual market value. So the guy, and you'll see this is in the United States, it holds true anyways. The average age of first marriage in the United States for men is about 29 to 30 years old. For women, it's about 28 to 29. Right, exactly as that is happening. And so what happens is women want to check out of the sexual marketplace before they age out, and it's that expiration date. And men, they're hoping that men are going to be stupid enough to not to not know that they're going to have more sexual selectivity when they get to be 36, 37 years old, if they take care of themselves. And also, as far as reproductive potential is concerned, every year after 30, your chances of having successfully conceiving a child and then having no complications as a result of that goes down all the way until you get to 50. And that's why I bleed hell about this. What is it? Freezing your eggs is some sort of at what Facebook, Fortune 500 companies are offering that as benefits to women who want to pursue their career. It's not interesting. It's not about your career. It's the fact that you can't find the guy that you think you deserve. And so what happens?
That's the thing that Fortune 500 companies are offering their female.
Well, here, this is
C-suite executive.
This is a financial podcast, so let me explain something to you here. If you are in
And this like whole idea of women can just freeze their eggs is, as far as I know, like, it's very expensive and there's absolutely no guarantee that it's going to work. So it's just selling this like pipe dream to chicks that, oh, don't worry, it's like, oh yeah, you can just freeze your eggs. It's gonna be, if you can decide later, you can do this, that, and the other. Like having a woman having a child is like, it's extremely taxing on the body. Um, so it's like a 21-year-old chick having a child can bounce back from it because she's more youthful and her just healthier in general, as opposed to a 35-year-old woman having a child. It's just going to be, they're just two completely different things. I mean, I've seen it before. I've seen. I remember I knew this chick, and she was like, I think in her early 30s, and I remember seeing her before she got pregnant, and then I saw her after, and it was like she it's like the best analogy I can make. It was like kind of like she'd been through a war. Like she just like, or like she just looked gaunt. Like, the before version, she was kind of, she was still in her early 30s, so she wasn't like super like youthful or anything, but she had a glow to her. She wasn't, she hadn't completely hit the wall, but I remember seeing her after she had the child. It was like, yeah, she was just gaunt in the face. Like, I think she even had a few gray hairs. It was like it's draining on the body, um, for sure.
Investing in the future and you want to do so based on gender or based on sexual trends right now, invest in anything that promotes fear of missing out for women, and anything that promotes the idea that their sexual market value will be evergreen forever. So was it cryogenics for ovum? Cryogenics, that's another one. Anything beauty products, right? Women don't want to look older, they want to look what? Younger. So the cosmetic industry is not this multi-trillion-dollar juggernaut because women want to look older. It's because they want to look as if they were 23 years old, because that's what men are looking for. They're looking for that. That's what we base our attraction.
I have a question. Are we talking strictly physical appearance here, or you're saying in general?
No.
Because I see, this is my actual serious question.
Mhm.
If you are successful entrepreneur, CEO, whatever, you're smart, you're a lawyer, doctor, whatever you are, and you're 30 something, let's say you're 37, and you start dating a girl who's 22, 23 on the peak, right?
Mhm.
What are you talking to her about? She doesn't have any, like, you can think she's hot as much as you want, I'm sure she is, but what are you, that's not your life partner. Maybe she is super mature and maybe you're going to have something to talk to, maybe she's whatever, but when
you're looking at this in the perspective of from a woman.
Okay, but let me continue.
Do guys want an unintelligent?
So like this idea that, oh, she's gonna bring intelligent conversation to the table just because she's older is bullshit. Basic, like, the thing I've found with women, like older women, is that the older they are, obviously just the more heartbreak, the more guys that they've dealt with, and the more jaded they become, and they're just the less fun they are to be around. Like when I'm around, young chicks like in the early 20s, they're just they have less baggage. They have less. They're they're not as snarky. They're not as just mean, and yeah, it's just like there's this idea that, oh, just because she's in her early 20s, she's going to be complete bimbo. But in general, I think most guys just want to be around a chick that's just more, positive, sweet, and not this kind of like confrontational, doesn't have this confrontational bitchy attitude, you know, like that's gonna, just bring a headache to any kind of relationship. Um, and imagine this chick here sitting in the middle would be she just gives off a vibe that like she's high maintenance. She just gives off this high maintenance vibe that's like really, you know, not to my taste anyway. You know what I mean? She's just quite deluded.
Like, first of all, why do we presume that a woman who is 23-year-old is not intelligent enough to get with the guy? That's number one. Number two is
I'm not done with my statement.
Most guys at that age who have that peak sexual selectivity, they're not looking for for a long-term partner. They're not looking for at 23. They're looking right around 26 or 27.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got confused as soon as you cut me out. So I'm just saying, I have a lot of friends who are in their early 20s because I have whatever.
Yeah.
And when I'm sitting there, me as a 31-year-old woman, I'm sitting there. I'm like, you guys have like, I just can't even sit here anymore. There's nothing to talk about. And these girls are
crazy face. She's crazy. What do you mean you have a lot of friends in your early 20s and you've nothing to talk to them about? How are you their friends then? She's just like, she doesn't even know what she's talking about. She just said, I have a lot of friends in my early 20s and I've nothing to talk to them about. It's like, why are you friends with them then? You're not friends with them if you've nothing to talk to them about. She's just jealous. She's just jealous. Trust me, it's like, it's natural. It's understandable to be jealous because it's the competition. It's a competition. Like, she cannot compete with a 21-year-old in terms of being a dateable prospect. I'm not gonna say every guy, but I'm gonna say the vast majority of guys are gonna pick the 21-year-old version over the 31-year-old version. Even if the 21-year-old version is a bimbo, still gonna be a hot bimbo. You know.
Are smart. They go to nice schools. They come from a good family, but their vision of life, and it's just like there's nothing you have in common. So when you're 23 and you get together with somebody who's 37, a successful lawyer, and you were just like, you got in your dreams to sorority.
Nothing you have in common. That's a thing that it's kind of a misconception. It's like, first of all, opposites attract. You don't need to have that much in common with a chick to have a good relationship with her. Like, it's the whole idea is that, men and women are different and the opposites attract. The more similar, if I met a girl that was very similar to me, I'd probably be disgusted by her. It's like, cause it's like, oh, that's like me. The reason I'm attracted to women is because they're so different. Like, they're so like different to me in every way. I don't want to find similarities to myself in a chick. I mean, the last girl I dated, like, there was nothing in common. Like, we were very different, but I was very attracted to her. We got on very well.
Like, you guys are not in the same.
I actually agree with you and also disagree with you at the same time, and we'll kind of bring this
way to
home.
ride the fence there.
No, but there, because I'm in that world. Like, by day I'm very open about this. By day I'm in the financial world. I work for a financial firm. I have to be very financial, but at night I'm in fucking South Beach partying with 20-something-year-olds. There is a difference. Like, I might see a 23-year-old and be like, damn, she's hot. And then I go to talk to her and I'm like, yeah, she's kind of,
but you're not going to marry her. You're not interested in
a
long-term thing.
So to both your points, you're talking about almost.
That's another thing. This is this kind of bullshit that, like, this idea that, oh, a guy really cares about having something in common with chicks when it comes to just wanting to smash. Like, oh, like, you go up to a girl and she's smoking hot and she's a bit of an airhead. That might even make you more attracted to her, to be honest. Like, you're not thinking about marriage when if you're in a social situation and you're talking to some super hot chick. If it doesn't matter if she's a bimbo. If she's like receptive, if she's like engaging with you, like, this guy is capping here because he's pretending like that he lost attraction to her because because maybe he's implying that she was an airhead or she was a bimbo. That's what I guess there was nothing in common. But the reality is what he really means is that he went up to her and she wasn't interested. I think what he's trying to say, what actually happened is he went up to her and she probably rejected him, or she talked to him disinterestedly. So that's the thing. If she was a smoking hot chick, as he said, and he went up to her and and she was an airhead, but she was receptive to him, that he would have been chuffed with that. Like he wouldn't have cared. What he's actually saying is that she kind of wasn't interested in him. That's what happened, because guys, it doesn't matter. Like for guys, we don't care in general. And obviously, I'm not speaking for all guys. It's like, but like I know guys. I understand what guys are about. We don't care. We do not care if a chick is an airhead, if she's not the smartest, if she doesn't have any interesting things to say. All we care about in the short term is if she's like receptive, if she's like interested in talking to you, if she's like yeah. So
most sexual market value, how they look to an extent. And you're basically saying, hey, look, yeah, maybe, 23-year-olds are hotter, but I can guarantee you at 31, I'm smarter, I'm, savvier, I dress better, I look better, definitely a little bit more high maintenance.
No,
but,
yeah, you just know who
but
you are.
that's the whole question.
all right. So there you have it, female delusion. But the only yeah, I guess, the only person, it's only bad for, well, it's bad for society in general, but like the delusion affects women more than men, in my opinion. Like I believe men can go through life without procreating and be still have a happy life, if they make it so, if they enjoy what they're doing, if they're content. They don't need to. I don't think they need to have a family to reach a state of satisfaction with their life. Um, but I genuinely believe that that's not the case for women. I think if a woman ends up like without procreating, without having children, the evidence suggests, from what I've seen, I don't think they can be true, like ever be happy. I think the complete opposite. I think they can be. It's like it's like it's a like tragic thing for them. Like they they suffer like deeply from it. Um, so that's why, like, the lies society tells women, that they're equal to men, that we're the same, that that they can just go around, like, sleeping around, and they can focus on their career, and they don't need to have families to be satisfied with their lives. It's just basically lies, for the vast majority of women. That I think it's lies, it's not true. And you could go down the rabbit hole. You could say, like, it's like a depopulation strategy. Like, I think I do think that there's definitely, certainly, some agenda to divide men and women, to make us you know in order to so that we don't procreate, so that the population doesn't increase. um that you could say that was what the whole beer bug thing was around. Just trying to restrict our freedoms, trying to divide men and women even further. um you know uh but for men, it's not the worst, situation, especially if you want to live the player lifestyle, and hook up with a lot of women. There's probably never been a better time for it. um there's you can get sex with no responsibilities. um but I honestly think it's the it's the kind of situation we're in. um just with all the era we live in, with social media, and all these dating apps and just the kind of world we live in. I honestly think it's a very bad idea for men to get married in this environment, because it's not worth it. Like before, it used to be worth it. Like there would be, you know, you could be, from what I've observed, from what I've seen, it was worth it because marriage was just a much less confrontational thing. Now it's like it seems that all the reward goes towards all the benefits go towards women. Like marriage is basically for women. It benefits them entirely. There's not really much benefit as a man to get married. There's only it's mostly negative what can happen, especially if you're a successful guy. Like if you're like a successful man with a good, like, good business or a good job, or you've some assets, um and then you get married to a chick, you could like lose like half of it if you get divorced. So it's like, what's the point? Plus, like, womanism is so it's just so widespread. Instead of like having a partner, you're having someone in your house to compete with. You're just gonna have an argumentative woman in your house. I mean, if people, like, look at the Johnny Depp situation. If a guy that's like that, Johnny Depp, Will Smith, all these celebrities that have vast amounts of wealth, if they, wealth, fame, if they can't keep their chicks in line, then what chance does your average guy have? He doesn't really have a chance, Um, yeah, but Spark55 says, screw getting married, even if an LTR is not necessary. Even for an LTR is not necessary. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just like, I just wouldn't go down that road. I start like, why would you invite the government into your personal life? That's what you're doing essentially when you get married. You're giving the government power over your freedom, over your, you're giving them, and it just doesn't make sense anymore. And I don't know, even know if it ever did. Like, why would you, like, you can be in a relationship with someone, and you don't need to make these like legal contracts. If you're genuinely in love with each other and all that bullshit, then why do you need legal contracts? Why do you need to make this like legal contract? It's like, it's outdated. Let's just be real. It's an outdated thing. It's outdated. Um we've gone past it, you know. Uh it's like back in the day, it was like, marriage comes from a time when there was no birth control, there was no what's it called, social welfare, so like we needed, men were like required, like we had to take care of these women. Now, big daddy government can, provide social welfare for a woman that um is, a single mother or whatever. They don't need no man, women don't need no man. And really, like, psychologically they do, but financially, they can get by, they can survive without men, basically, in the Western world. They're gonna get housing, they're gonna get, financial support. So, in the Western world, like, not this shit doesn't fly in other. That's why, like, feminism doesn't fly in outside of the West, in poor, no, not necessarily just well, but let's just say poorer countries. It doesn't fly there because men are required to, they have to, like, they have to have responsibility for their actions, as in, if they father a child, they're going to be responsible for it. um you know and that, and as well, women also can't you know can't be as promiscuous, because like they know that if they do, there's like they're gonna have to like financially support a child and have someone to look after it. So this whole womanism thing, it only flies in the West, but it's only a new thing. Spark 55 says, well, for now, financially, yes, but that financial situation will eventually change, even for the West. The money printer has been on for too long. Yeah, it seems so, man. It seems so. It seems the money printer has definitely been on for too long. Yeah, inflation is here. Who knows what's going to happen in Western societies? Time will tell. Time will tell, indeed. But that's it for today, guys. Check out the links in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will be back here on Monday, I think 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another episode of Player Life. Peace out, guys. Bye bye.